The first thing I noticed wasn't the heat or the traffic or even the karaoke echoing through the neighborhood at noon on a Tuesday. It was the rice. Rice in the morning. Rice at lunch, rice again at dinner. Sometimes rice with noodles. Sometimes rice with soup. Sometimes rice was something that already felt like a full meal on its own. And every time I'd ask, half joking, half confused, "Is there rice with this?" The answer was always the same, of course. Back home in the US, rice is optional. It's a side dish. It shows up at Chinese restaurants, maybe with Mexican food, or as something health-conscious people meal prep in plastic containers. No one wakes up craving rice. No one gets offended if you don't eat it. But here in the Philippines, rice isn't food. Rice is life. And the more time I spent here, the more I realized this wasn't just about taste. It was about history, culture, comfort, survival, and identity. My first Filipino breakfast caught me completely off guard. I was expecting something light: toast, eggs, maybe fruit. Instead, I was served garlic rice, fried eggs, and longanisa. I remember staring at the plate, then at the clock. It was 7 a.m. My American brain was screaming, "This is dinner." But everyone around me was happily eating, relaxed, energized, and very confused by my confusion. Someone laughed and said, "How can you work without rice?" That question stuck with me. Because in the US, we don't associate carbs with productivity. We associate them with guilt. Bread is bad. Pasta is a cheat day. Rice is something you count, measure, limit. Here, rice is fuel. You eat it so you can move. You eat it so you can work. You eat it so your stomach feels settled and strong. No rice means you're not ready for the day. I tried skipping rice once. Just once. I thought maybe I'd ease myself into the lifestyle, eat the viand, skip the rice. Big mistake. An hour later, I was hungry again. Not snacky hungry. Real hungry. The kind where your body feels empty even though you technically ate. I mentioned this to a local friend, and she looked at me with sympathy, like I had willingly removed my shoes before walking on gravel. "You didn't eat rice," she said. That's why. In the US, meals are built around protein. Chicken breast, steak, salmon, the sides are negotiable. Salad instead of fries. No carbs, please. In the Philippines, the rice is the base. Everything else is the flavor. Adobo without rice feels incomplete. Sinigang without rice feels wrong. Even fast food here understands this. Fried chicken always comes with rice. Burgers come with rice. Spaghetti somehow comes with rice. I once saw rice served next to pizza and no one questioned it. At first, I thought it was funny. Then I thought it was excessive. And then, slowly, I started to understand. Rice is affordable. Rice is filling. Rice feeds families. For generations, rice meant survival. The Philippines isn't just a tropical paradise. It's an agricultural country shaped by farming, colonization, and resilience. Rice fields aren't just scenic backgrounds for Instagram photos. They're symbols of labor and endurance. Eating rice isn't indulgence. It's respect for the work that brought it to the table. In the US, we rarely think about where our food comes from. It arrives wrapped in plastic, pre-cut, pre-seasoned. Rice in the Philippines is personal. Many people grew up seeing it harvested. Some families still store sacks of it at home. Having rice means security. Running out of rice is a real problem. Running out of bread? Not so much. There's also the matter of sharing. Filipino meals are communal. Dishes are placed in the center, and everyone takes what they want, always over rice. Rice stretches food. A small amount of viand can feed many people when paired with rice. It turns one dish into a family meal. In America, individual plates are the norm. Portions are fixed. If you're still hungry, that's on you. Here, rice makes sure everyone gets enough. I noticed this especially in provinces and smaller towns. Meals weren't about excess. They were about balance, a bit of fish, a bit of vegetables, plenty of rice. The goal wasn't to feel stuffed, it was to feel satisfied. Full enough to keep going. Full enough to work, to walk, to commute, to live. Meanwhile, back in the US, our relationship with food is complicated. We're obsessed with diets. Keto, paleo, low carb, no carb, gluten-free, even when we're not gluten intolerant. Rice gets villainized. It's blamed for weight gain, laziness, health problems. But watching Filipinos eat rice 3 times a day challenged that narrative. People here walk more, sweat more, move more. Food isn't separated from activity. You eat because you're going to use the energy. There's also an emotional side to rice that Americans don't really have. Rice is comfort. Rice is home. When Filipinos are sick, they eat rice porridge. When they're stressed, they want rice meals. When they've been away too long, they miss rice more than anything else. I met Filipinos abroad who said they could eat burgers and pasta for months, but eventually, the craving for rice becomes unbearable. It's not just hunger, it's nostalgia. I started asking people what happens when they don't eat rice. The answers were surprisingly consistent. I feel weak. I feel like I didn't eat. I get irritable. My stomach feels strange. One person told me, half joking, if there's no rice, I'm not in a good mood. And honestly, I get it now. Because after weeks of eating rice regularly, my body adjusted. My energy felt steadier. I wasn't crashing between meals. I wasn't obsessing over snacks. Rice stopped feeling heavy and started feeling grounding. It became the quiet hero of every meal, the thing that made everything else make sense. Americans often ask, how do Filipinos eat so much rice and stay healthy? The better question might be, why did we decide rice was the enemy? In the US, food trends change every year. In the Philippines, rice has stayed constant for centuries. That kind of consistency doesn't come from ignorance. It comes from experience. Of course, it's not perfect. Too much white rice without balance can be an issue, just like anything else. But Filipinos don't eat rice alone. It's paired with vegetables, fish, soups, and fermented flavors. Meals are simpler, less processed. The problem lies in tea rice. It is how disconnected we've become from how food is meant to work with our bodies. Another thing I noticed is that rice creates rhythm. Breakfast rice starts the day. Lunch rice keeps you going. Dinner rice signals rest. Meals aren't rushed. Even quick meals feel complete because rice anchors them. In the US, we grab food on the go, eat in cars, eat while working. Here, rice slows things down. You sit, you eat, you talk. I once joked that Filipinos would eat rice during a power outage, a typhoon, or a zombie apocalypse. Someone responded, completely serious, yes, of course. And that told me everything I needed to know. Rice isn't just tradition, it's preparedness. It's reliability. When things go wrong, rice is still there. When money is tight, rice stretches. When life is uncertain, rice is familiar. Americans don't eat rice 3 times a day because we don't need to. Our system doesn't demand it. Our food culture is built on convenience, abundance, individual choice. Filipino food culture is built on sharing, endurance, and making the most of what you have. Neither is inherently better, but they explain everything. Now, when I see a plate of rice, I don't see carbs. I see context. I see history. I see why this small, simple grain holds so much meaning. I see why skipping rice feels wrong to so many people here. And I see why asking, "Where's the rice?" isn't a joke, it's a genuine concern. I still don't eat rice 3 times a day every single day. I'm still American. Old habits die hard. But I understand now why Filipinos do, and I respect it. Because rice isn't just something you eat, it's something you depend on. It's something that reminds you who you are and where you're from. And maybe, just maybe, the reason Americans don't eat rice 3 times a day isn't because we're healthier or smarter, but because we've forgotten how powerful simple food can be when it's woven into everyday life. Here, rice doesn't need defending. It doesn't need trends or nutrition labels or influencers. It just shows up every day, every meal, quietly doing its job. And honestly, that's kind of beautiful.